Hi everyone. So the purpose of this tutorial is to show how you can apply a CSS file to the HoosHungry application so that you can change the graphical properties, the layout, the colors, and the fonts of the web application. When you're doing your final project, you can make your site look a little prettier or jazz it up a little. If you already know how to apply your own CSS to your application or the HoosHungry website, then this tutorial is not that relevant. But what we'll be doing is we'll be taking you through the steps to set it up your own CSS file, and then at the very end we'll actually change the background color to black, so something like this, simple CSS. And CSS stands for style sheet. So to start off, whenever you're trying to figure out where certain aspects of your site is coming from, so in this particular case, where is the CSS coming from, it's always a good idea to view at the page source. And so how we can do that is if we right-click on the web page and you click View Page Source. This should be default on almost any browser. It'll pop up the code that goes behind it. And the line that we're looking for is the style sheet. So these two lines right here. So you see style sheet, text, CSS, and then you've got href, this link here. And what we'll be trying to do is to be changing this link, and we can actually follow that link and see his CSS. And this is a good way to figure out, if the CSS you want to change the font family, you can just use this property right here. Anyway, so we'll be trying to change this. So now we have to do a bit of detective work. How can we change this line? So assuming that you did problem set 8 and you know how to edit the source code. So access the files for that. So in this case I've mapped it. And I just need to go over here. And it's right here, HoosHungry. So if you do a little bit of looking, you can find out that it's being printed under headers.py. And the lines are actually right here. And very quickly we can see the similarities. Sorry, these two lines right here. So you see the style sheet, you see the CSS, and then you see where the link is, and then you see that. And so what we want to change is this link, and you can see how there's good programming practice here. You've separated the constants so that since you're reusing this constant a lot, you don't have to type that over and over again. If I want to change this, I only have to change it in one place instead of all of these places, like here and here. So we'll want to go to this constants page. So if we go to constants, and you'll see right here, you've got the style sheet. And we'll want to basically create our own CSS file and get a link to it and put that link right here. So how do we do that? It might be tempting just to put it right here and then just putting a link to it, but actually that doesn't work. This is because when the CGI, you'll notice that we navigated through a CGI bin. And right now what the server is trying to do is it's trying to execute the files in here. So really you don't want to mix your code, your Python, maybe a PHP. You don't want to mess with these files. You don't want to mix these files along with your static files, like a CSS file or just a simple HTML file. So basically we have to put our CSS file somewhere else. And where can we put it? Well, we're lucky because we're UVA students and we have a home directory. So we'll be putting it there. So to access your home directory, just very quickly if you don't know already, you can use one of two options. You can either map a drive to it, just like we did for our HoosHungry application, or you can use the home directory web interface. And you can just, to access those, if you don't know the link already, the link is right here. You've got itc.virginia.edu, home.dir, 1xp map. And you've got this right here. I won't read it, but you can just Google it. So if you Google UVA home directory map, the first link will teach you how to do that. And if you do web interface instead, home directory web interface UVA, the first link will show you that. I prefer the map because that allows you to just quickly change the files. With the web interface, you have to upload it each time, but this way you just have to quickly change it. So I've done it already, but if you're mapping it, you just right-click on my computer, map network drive, pick a drive letter, doesn't matter which one, folder, make sure you type it in as they tell you to, and in this case it's home1 people.virginia.edu / your UVID. After you hit finish, it might ask you to log in with your credentials, and you'll want to make sure that you have eServices / your ID and a password. So I've already done that. So now you can go to access your drive. So once you've accessed it, you'll want to put the file under public HTML, and you can organize however you like. I've put a file for CS1120. And then you'll want to create a new text file, well, CSS file, but you'll change the extension. So when you do this, you want to make sure that you can change this to a cascading style sheet. So you want this right here not to say text document. You want to be careful. Make sure that if you go to Tools, Folder Options, View, that the Hide Extensions for known file types is unchecked. So after you do this, rename, and we'll call it style.css. Some sort of warning should pop up. And if you double click, well, before you double click, see how it's changed to cascading style sheet document. You want to make sure that it's not a text anymore. Now we'll want to actually put some properties in. And whenever you're messing around, it's always with CSS, it's always a good idea to have some sort of reference. And in this case, I found this reference right here. And you'll see it says background and color properties. And if we go to background color, since we'll be changing it to black, we see what we need right here. So now we'll go back to our CSS file and we'll put that in. So body, curly bracket, and then background color, background color, black, and then close that. So these are curly brackets right there. So let's save that, create our CSS file. Let's just take a look really fast. Is it there? Yep, right there. And now we'll want to get the link to it. So the link for it is, and this is the same for everyone, people.virginia.edu / your UVID. And then from there we will want to basically put in the directory as you organized it. So that gets you to here. And now, since I created the CS1120 file, folder, I'll have to type in CRS1120 / and then now the actual file name, style.css. And that'll get you to it. And if you hit enter, you should see exactly what you typed. If you don't, then you don't have the correct link. Now we'll want to copy that link. And remember from earlier that we found out that in order to change it, we'll have to change the constants. So we'll go into here, and then we'll see this line right here, and just paste in that URL. So it should be something like people.virginia.edu, YSH4U, or your UVID, and then CS1120 style.css, if that's how you set it up. So now that you've put in the link, it should know where to look to find your CSS. So here's our original page. If we refresh, the background should be black. And there it is. And it's very easy. So whenever you want to change any other properties, say we want to change it to red. So I type in red, and then I refresh, and it should come up red. Alright, that's it for now. And later on, we'll probably discuss more about how you can change more of the properties and mess around with some floats and divs. Thanks.